this is your astrology forecast for March 2016. Thanks for joining me. It's really nice to be with you today. A couple of things going on in March that I want to make you aware of. Two eclipses, first of all, really big, important kind of energies going on. First thing happening on the 1st of March is that Saturn, the planet of scrutiny and restriction, begins to square the Sun until the 12th of March. Okay, so pretty much the first 2 weeks of the month are under this energy, and Saturn is structure and it's restriction, and it kind of adds consistency to anything it touches. When it squares the Sun here, which is in the sign of Pisces at the moment in your 12th house, what that does is it gives you a real sense of, I know what I'm doing, I know what's best for people, I am educated, I am the person who knows how to move things forward. And it may give you that sense of entitlement, and you may come across as a little bit pompous. Okay, so the truth is, yes, you do have a lot of information, you do find solutions quite easily at this time, but that doesn't mean that everyone else's opinion is less valid, or that you have to really kind of dismiss other people. So just be aware of that tendency to kind of be a little bit blinkered in terms of your own thinking, in terms of what you think is right and what isn't right, and to work in conjunction with other people. On the 2nd of March, a T-square forms in the chart, which is an area of friction, and again that's between the Sun and Jupiter. And really what that does is it puts you in a position of really being able to take a lot of positive action on a day-to-day basis, to be very practical, to be very concrete, and to do things for other people. So you're someone who is very reliable in terms of the themes of life. You're going to be very good at making money, going to work, being punctual all the time, being career focused, being very practical, being very grounded. I also think, Aries, that during this time you're going to feel a great sense of energy, and you're going to feel great physical resilience and physical health. So that then translates into emotional health. It relates into feeling really able to make a positive impact on life and on the lives of other people. So this T-square friction between what you're doing on a day-to-day basis versus what you're doing for other people, and the solution to the problem is really to think long-term, to think about where you want to go with your actions, with what you're helping other people, and to look at the patterns that are emerging, because you're very much in a good place in your life right now. Look at what you're doing, what works, what doesn't work, and then kind of make a mental note of that, because if you repeat this kind of behavior in future, you'll notice that there's a pattern to it and that you can replicate success. This T-square stays there until the 18th of March, okay? So this is something else that really sets up a theme here for the month. And it really makes you someone who's going to fly through pretty much the first 3 weeks here by being so practical and by being very diligent and persistent and showing up on time and doing everything right. And because you do everything right, life kind of conspires to open things up for you as a positive kind of response to your positive action. On the 3rd of March, there's a yacht in the chart. This has a kind of karmic connection, a karmic influence here. It connects your Uranus and Aries in your 1st house, your Venus and Aquarius in your 11th house, and it points towards this Jupiter in your 6th. The 3rd of March particularly is a wonderful day to meet a new friend. A friend who is unique, maybe a little bit eccentric, maybe a little bit quirky, but someone who thinks along the same lines that you do, and someone who's on the same page as you, and someone who you can get on with very well. So look out on the 3rd for new people coming into your life. You'll meet someone who can become a permanent fixture in your life. You know, and some people say, oh, you know, if things go wrong, they always say, oh, well, you know, I've got enough friends. But most people, most of us, we could use more friends in our lives, people who really understand us and support us. So that's a really good potential there on this day to expand your friendship circle. On the 5th of March, Mercury goes into Pisces, and you've got a lot going on in Pisces. Now, first of all, the sun is in Pisces. It's the time of Pisces. And I think it's a wonderful, beautiful time of year because Pisces is really the very end of the zodiac, and it's very much about other people and giving and sharing and being of service. But then as the month progresses, things move into Aries, which is very much about new beginnings, fresh starts, and thinking about me. So usually this time of year is very much about me versus them, what's for the greater good and what's for my good. And the month can become really loud and really quiet at times. So like the weather in the northern hemisphere, you don't really know what you're going to get from day to day. So on the 5th, Mercury does go into Pisces in your 12th house. Mercury is the communication planet of information coming in, going out. In Pisces, it's spiritual information. That in your 12th house of spirituality, and the other side, the end, the veil kind of being pulled away there in the 12th house. Communication with your intuitive self, with higher self, with loved ones who've passed away, with the unmanifest is going to become much easier and is increased. Mercury also conjuncts Neptune there, which is the planet of water and the intuition. So from the 5th of March onwards until really much later when Mercury goes into Aries on the 22nd of March, spiritual communion, intuitive messages are going to be very strong, very helpful. And if you want to apply that to any particular area of your life, the messages you'll get will be very, very helpful when it comes to your work and your career. So if you're totally lost when it comes to career, what should I be doing? Then really listen for those 17 days to what you get. It will be very insightful. It's also a very good time to have readings about your life purpose, about what you'd like to do, because you'll hear the information and you'll be in touch with your inner self. So you can check in with yourself whether it resonates or not. It's very important, and this is a little bit of a side note, if you go and have a reading from an astrologer or a psychic or anyone like that, it's important to hear what they're saying, but it's also important not just to take everything that person says as set in stone. Check in with yourself and see if it actually matches what you're feeling. Because your intuition is always going to be the number one thing you should listen to. Okay? And it's good and it's helpful to have guidance sometimes, but when it comes to making decisions, always check in with yourself. Mars goes from Scorpio into Sagittarius on the 6th of March, and that's really positive because Mars is the fire planet, it's the red planet of desire. It's not particularly comfortable in Scorpio, it's frustrated. In Sagittarius, it's much more about what can I achieve in the real world, and it's not as blocked and not as challenged, so Mars becomes much happier. So there's a much greater sense of ease, less frustration, a smaller feeling of I can't do what I want, and things start to move forward, especially in travel. This is a wonderful time for you to travel from the 6th of March onwards, and also to expand in higher realms, to learn, to study. Remember, with that Mercury in the 12th, it's a great time to discover new things about yourself. On the 7th of March, Jupiter starts to sextile the Ascendant, and Jupiter is in your 6th. And on this day, there's a kind of combination of the nurturing positive feelings you have towards people who are really near and dear to you, and that kind of blends with your working life. So you'll notice that something very personal, or something that feels very personal happens at work. Remember to kind of think about where you are and to keep your professional head on, because it's very possible that you will think completely with your heart on this day, and your heart will go out to other people. But remember the requirements of your work, of your job. Again, if you're retired, you may meet someone who completely makes you feel like it's okay to disregard everything else you've got going on in your life and become completely focused on them. Remember to keep a balanced view of things on this day. Now, on the 9th of March, the new moon occurs in Pisces. And not just the new moon, but it's also a total solar eclipse, which is on the south node of the moon. Now, a new moon is about pulling energy in. It's in Pisces, so it's about that spiritual, intuitive energy, very strong. You've got 2, 4, 6 planetary bodies in Pisces at the moment, so you're going to very much kind of feel aligned with that Piscean energy. And for you, Aries, it might feel a little bit like things aren't moving quickly enough. But this solar eclipse as well, when it's on the south node, it's about letting go of things. And it's allowing to let go of non-action for you. So this, for you, is kind of a preparation for your birthday next month, where you're letting go of all of these things that you've had to accept and all of these things that you've had to share. And now you're letting go of all of that and you're making space for new energy to arrive and for you to be able to push forward, take action, and become very energized. The moon then on the next day goes into your sign of Aries in your first house, and at noon on the 12th of March, London time, it's at 10 degrees. And that's very interesting because 10 reduces to the number 1 in numerology, and 1 is all about new energy and action. That's something you feel very, very in tune with as a sign, okay? It's also in Aries, in your sign, in your first house. So the 10th of March is going to be a first kind of inkling of what's to come in terms of how active you can be, how much you can make happen. So if you're trying to get anything started, a house purchase, signing a contract, a career move, a new salary, a new job, the 10th of March is the best day to do it so far in this month. On the 11th, the moon then conjunct Uranus, and Uranus is the rebel and the maverick, doing things in his own chaotic way. That's also in Aries. It's been in Aries for a long time. But when the moon connects with that, you feel very, very certain of yourself on this day. You feel very able to take action, and you feel very driven to do something. Okay, so be very selective and be careful about what you're giving your energy to. You're going to be all systems go, and as soon as you touch the gas pedal, you're going to be going down the highway at 180 miles an hour. So just be, before you scoot off somewhere, make sure that the direction you're going in is right. Venus goes into Pisces on the 12th of March, joins those 6 other bodies there in your 12th house now. Venus is the planet of love and beauty. And when Venus is in Pisces, it's very forgiving, it's very healing, it's very much meditative. So again, use this time to meditate, to let go of all of the things that you want to get rid of before this period of activity starts in March. So it's a wonderful kind of day of letting go, of detoxing. On the 13th, the moon starts to trine Jupiter and the North Node. And this is the best day for you to make financial gains. This is the best day for you abundance-wise. This is a wonderful day where you will get positive news in terms of your finances, and you will also have the potential to create great things in your financial life. Best day so far in terms of money and finances. On the 15th, there's a grand cross in the sky, and these are always very much tense, and you feel a little bit pushed and pulled. You're going to feel challenged in terms of your way of looking at the world, what you think is right, and what you're being asked to do. Communication is going to come in that doesn't really gel with what you've been doing so far, and you're going to feel a sense of, oh, I'm being contradicted here, what am I supposed to do? And it's going to be a real sense of, okay, hang on a minute, put on the brakes, and remember you've been going 100 miles an hour, and now it's put on the brakes, reevaluate, and look at what you're actually doing. It will feel uncomfortable, but will serve you for the rest of the month because you're reevaluating your direction. And that came up earlier as well, that it's important for you to look at the direction you're going in. On the 17th, there's something quite odd that occurs. It's what I'm going to call a triangle of friction here. It's 2 sesqui squares and a square, and it connects your Venus and Neptune, your Mars, and it comes together with the moon and rising in Cancer in your 4th. This is a day of me versus them. What do I want to do? What do I feel is right? How do I feel my life is progressing? Versus other people, what are they demanding of me? What are they asking of me? and I really want to help. You're going to feel conflicted. A lot of positive stuff is coming in. You're feeling very inspired, and on the one hand you want to use that inspiration for your own progress. On the other hand, you want to use it to support and help other people. If the trick here on this day, and this is a heads up, the trick is that if you choose to help others, you indirectly help yourself anyway. So lean towards that side of taking action. It will be very, very supportive to you. On the 18th of March, the moon goes into Leo in your 5th house. This so far now is the best day when it comes to romance, when it comes to love. You feel very, very much energized, you feel very passionate, and you feel very much comfortable in your own body. And it's a great day for really connecting with another person and feeling butterflies and goosebumps and having those wonderful kind of physical sensations that you can only have when you connect with someone you care about. On the 19th of March, there's a grand trine. So you see the astrological weather is really, really windy. There's a lot going on. So on the 19th, a grand trine in fire, the passion continues, the sense of being alive and wanting to experience different things is really, really strong. Discovering new things emotionally, passionately, you're really kind of feeling a great sense of adventure and optimism, especially when it comes to other people. On the 20th of March now, the moon begins to quincunx the Sun and Mercury. The Sun is now moved into your 1st house and into your sign of Aries. It's at 0 degrees. Mercury is still in Pisces. Now, this is a day of great passion, but it's heightened by that Sun in Aries, urging you to go forward, but you're still getting a lingering kind of sense of messages coming through. So you've got 1 foot in Pisces, 1 foot in your sign of Aries. So you have all of the gifts and qualities that your Aries self gives you, but you're much more in tune with spirit, with your higher self than you usually are, and the actions you take on the 20th of March will be divinely guided. 444, you'll be able to take things forward in a way that is really meant to be. So this is a great day in all areas of life because spirituality is at 10 out of 10 today, and the things you take practical action on or with will have really positive outcomes for you. On the 22nd, Mercury, the communication planet, then goes into Aries in your sign, and you'll feel much more aligned with the real world about getting things done, about moving things forward, and that higher sense of something is watching over me, something is guiding me will have faded away, and you're going to be really focused on the practical. So between the 20th and the 22nd, listen to those messages, meditate, ask what's going on, and then put those into practice from the 22nd onward. On the 23rd, the full moon occurs in Libra. It's not just a full moon though, it's also a lunar eclipse on the north node of the moon. So the full moon is kind of showering the people on planet Earth in Libran energy. So it's very much about harmony, it's very much about the other. Libra is the sign that opposes you, Aries, so it's very much about compromise rather than doing things yourself. Doesn't always feel comfortable, but because it's a lunar eclipse, it's interrupted, and it's a lunar eclipse on the north node, so it's pulling in this energy. It's basically a stronger full moon than it usually would be, and you will become overwhelmed and flooded with this sense of compromise and wanting to do things for others. So the 23rd of March is going to great. You're on a roll here, everything's been moving forward, and the solar eclipse literally is like a blackout for you, and you feel totally interrupted. You'll be focused on other people. It throws you out of your groove, so just be prepared for that. On the 24th, things return back to normal. The T-square kind of gets you moving forward towards taking practical action, exploring, and things kind of return to normality on the 24th of March for you. Just be prepared for that full moon because it will feel a little bit uncomfortable. On the 26th, the moon goes into Scorpio and it trines Neptune. The moon is now in Scorpio in the 8th house of death, of the other side, and it it connects with the dream planet of intuition. This is the best day for you in terms of your psychic abilities, your intuitive abilities, and I wouldn't say spirituality so much because it's not an all-encompassing spirituality. It's literally connecting with things beyond and getting specific messages through. A grand trine occurs on the 26th as well, and it lasts until the 31st, and this is fire. So at the same time, oh wow, this is actually amazing. This is real passion and delight when it comes to other people, and a real sense of enthusiasm about other people. And because we've got that moon Neptune connection around the 26th, you can trust your gut. If you fall in love with someone around the 26th, that will be something that is genuinely meant to be. It's not a flash in the pan. It's not just some random event. You can trust that it is positive for you. So that is the best time. That 5-day period is the best time for you romantically during the month. The month finishes on the 31st with the moon and Pluto conjuncting in your 10th house of career. This is now a refocus on work and regenerating work and moving in a different direction, and that sets you up for April, and that's going to be a big theme for you in April. So things kind of, the wheels turning, things shift and alter at the end of the month. That's what I see coming up for you in March. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful month. If you've got any questions about career or love or family or spirituality, please get in touch with me for a private reading. The website is gregoryscott.com. Click on the Readings tab. Remember to subscribe to the channel, and I will speak to you next month for your astrological forecast. You can also find me on the channel daily for the daily tarot reading. Have a great March, and I'll speak to you soon.